Nancy, I still say there should be a law against bad movie making.
Book him, Michael.
Hello, welcome to Violent Cinema Review. I'm Christian.
And I'm Bones.
And we are doing a pretty controversial film, but we decided just to say duck it.
Today we're going to do Duck, the Carbine High Massacre, directed by William Hellfire in the 90s-something. Pretty damn close to the actual Columbine shooting. Is this your first time? I don't remember if we talked about this or you've seen this a couple times.
This was my first time. I actually watched it today.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Well, I started watching it. I don't remember why, but so I watched the beginning before and then never got around to finishing it. But it wasn't because I didn't like it. I just got sidetracked with some stuff.
Yeah, I actually watched this years and years ago because Misty Mundae was in it, and I was way too young when I figured out about her. In middle school, I had a fucking naked picture of her that I printed out on my binder, and it was a huge thing. Fucking, I loved this movie as a kid, and I'm so glad that it held up, to be honest, because it is so much fucking fun. But bad taste, be warning, if you cannot handle horrible taste in the same vein as John Waters, but in this case I think a little worse taste because it's very realistic case.
Yeah, for being PC and politically incorrect, 100%. This is worse than when it comes to gross out. No, you can't beat John Waters.
Oh yeah, but in this case, the problem is with a lot of people is that the only likable characters in this movie are the school shooters. So
yeah. They have it played into an American satire, type thing, and
yeah.
it's like the kids are just troubled teens, and and everyone else doesn't get them, and which I kind of get because during that time, especially doing that, I was that gothic kid and still kind of wearing trench coats, even though the trench coat mafia was a fucking thing. I was like, I was so
tisk.
No, definitely. I fit that part during.
Well, actually, we talked about. Okay, so we talked about this before recording, but I'm just remembering something too. There was another likable character, the actual goth kid, the one that was friends with him that never did anything. Yeah, the cop shot.
That was so out of the blue. He's like, "Sorry, I thought it was one of the shooters."
So awesome. What's going on here? Yeah, him and his girlfriend were likable characters. I guess his girlfriend got to survive, so. There you go.
Yeah, there was a few survivors.
Yeah. My favorite hateable character is still Misty Mundae, though. I know I'll keep talking about her, but she's a Bible freak, which is so rare for her roles. No nudity whatsoever, and she's just the biggest cunt. But she's trying to get these people to come to her Bible study. So it's like, oh, you had that gum. How about you kind of owe me? How about you come to my class or Bible study or whatever?
Yeah, some of her things, she should have been a car salesman. She's
she did.
She sold that.
There's also a special ed character too, and she like pretends to feed him and be nice, and then gets disgusted by it. It's like, so are you coming to my Bible study? She also booked a fucking like death metal band for her Bible study the first time. The band was sick, yeah.
Yeah, like fucking just gargling and deep throating the mic, but
I know. I loved it because she was into it and then realized what was going on. It's like, they're not Christians.
Threw up on her friend.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. The comedy in this works so well. That's why it's like still timeless. Like,
yeah, it's one of those films you want to hate because of just like the whole concept and the the controversy behind it and everything. But when you're watching it, you're like, this is so fucking funny, and it's so well done. You're just like, all right, I can't hate this.
Yeah, it's even for like the quality of video footage and everything like that. Like you expect it to be bad. But I promise you, it's way better than you think it is. It's not just some normal low-budget shitty B movie. It's two kids capitalizing on a mass murder, but writing a fucking clever script and actually know what they're doing.
I think it gets a pass because it's a good satire. It's almost like South Park, of where the humor is too good, where you just kind of just let it pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's like wife beating in it. There's all kinds of stuff, but just but she's just like, okay, just
Dude,
like
okay.
the whole attitude.
So we didn't talk about this before. You brought up the whole news reporter being like, "This is so exciting. I mean, tragic." Like at that same time, one of the school shooters' alcoholic fathers come up. He's like, "No, I think my kid's one of the shooters. I think he has my good gun."
Yeah.
And then he
Not
goes
my
back.
first one.
Yeah, and then the reporter's like, "Oh my God, sir, how you feeling?" My good gun.
Yeah.
The acting is so over the top and good though. So like even the shit we spoiled is still gonna come off so funny when you watch it.
Yeah.
Like I think
Even
people
though like
need
a
to
lot
give
of it
it
is
a
supposed
chance.
is bad acting, but it works. It's kind of like in that John Waters was like over the top bad acting, so it just
Yeah.
like it is awesome.
Yeah, to be honest, this is like the closest thing I could get to a John Waters movie with less money than John Waters even had and the same like extent of working perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Well, like you said too, it's not gross out or anything. It's just in really fucking bad taste.
Oh yeah, the whole film is in bad taste, and they admit it too. They're like, well, it's just someone else is going to make it, so it might as well have been us first,
That was exactly their mindset too. And yeah, someone else would have made a movie about it
I mean, they did.
10 years later, but not
Elephant
right
was
after.
fun.
Dude, they started writing the script right after they heard about that, the fucking case. I
Here,
think they
go.
started shooting like a week later. Another fun part of the movie, you could even look up the footage online of the news. I think it was even Fox talking about William Hellfire and the other school shooter who also wrote and directed it. I forgot his name. But they both got arrested right after because they actually brought real guns to the set, which was an actual school, and they figured their way in there and just snuck shit in there. But then once they figured out about it, it was like bam, getting popped.
One of the suspects is 26-year-old William Aprisino. He lives in the basement of this home in Ringwood, New Jersey, and apparently is a member of an underground group of movie makers who create, sell, and trade what are called chiller films. Low budget, bad acting, sadistic, bloody from beginning to end. The films are marketed during so-called chiller conventions, where people interested in blood, gore, and violence gather to sell their wares. The second suspect is 21-year-old Joseph R. Miller. Both he and Aprisino star in their latest movie as two killers who murder a number of high school classmates. The parallels to Columbine are obvious and intentional. The movies are protected under the First Amendment, which guarantees freedom of speech. But in the process of filming the movie last August, they filmed themselves with weapons on the grounds of a New Jersey grade school. Police in Ringwood say that's a felony, and the two movie makers recorded the evidence themselves. It's a day and age where police across the country take all such incidents seriously in an effort to head off the next Columbine-type incident before it happens.
I don't think they spent too much time like behind bars because I don't think they were that old, to be honest. They definitely got in a bunch of legal trouble because of that. And that's what delayed the
Wasn't during
movie
like
from coming out.
summertime. They just said it was like some school project.
Yeah, I think it was like some like summer break because I know for a fact there was no kids there. Like it had to have been during summer break. It's been a while since I watched the news report, but I'm pretty sure. The effects are just the same thing reused of like just like blood splatter gunshots, but some of them actually work shockingly well, even though it's the same effect over and over again, just rigged differently. Like we said, it's already a cheap ass movie, but it was pretty fun. When they worked, they worked.
Well, like him getting his ass kicked. I mean, some of the stuff was actually pretty gnarly. And the guy in the wheelchair, just like the only one you think is going to be the nice character, he ends up rolling over his feet and fingers like afterwards.
Yeah, after he gets his ass beat and like gang jumped just because he looks different.
I get that. I had 10-year-old or little 8-year-old kids when I was walking down the street being,
Really?
yeah. So that was
Seriously?
that topic.
You gotta love the fucking prepubescent kids that just hear shit.
That's Florida for you.
Yeah, ugh. Florida man. Another bad taste spot in the movie that was was so trying to be PC. After they shoot the black guy in the stomach, they're like, "Would you like to do the honors of shooting the African American in the head?" And he does. And then after his brains are on the table, he's like, "Oh, it is true. Their brains are blue." It's
Yeah, so wrong.
so random. It might be some like actual Nazi shit that they thought of because there
Yeah.
was like Nazi shit on there. I just thought of that in my head now that it could actually be like a real thing said by like neo-Nazis, but I just thought it was a joke.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that and thrown in here. A lot of references to that.
Well, yeah, because Dylan and Eric, the actual school Columbine killers, they were pretty influenced by like Nazis and stuff. They tried to do that as much as they could in their room, add as many of the influences of the real killers, even though their personalities were vastly different than the real killers. They were
Yeah.
definitely not as comedic.
The real ones were more into video games and stuff.
They were playing video games too. That was how we saw them.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, when the parents came in and they were like smoking cigarettes and weed and they were on the
Yeah.
computer and shit. Is this your first William Hellfire movie, by the way, Christian?
No, because I saw the
Satan's Rape Clinic?
Yeah.
Orgy at Satan's Rape Clinic.
or orgasm torture in Satan's rape clinic. Yeah.
I really like William Hellfire, the stuff I've seen from him. I love Misty Mundae, and she's in a lot of his stuff. I do want to see the documentary he's featured in about the Wave direct to video or direct to your door. I forgot the whole title of the movie, but it's supposed to be an amazing documentary. I've heard Mr. Park and Moods talk a lot about it.
I think this is probably the film that got the most controversial most controversy.
Yeah, this is definitely the William Hellfire film that made the biggest splash. The one with the least amount of violence and nudity is the one that made the biggest splash.
It does make sense though, and surprisingly accurate into a lot of ways, but then also just an exaggeration for humor.
Well, they purposefully said legitimate things in the version of the school shooters so that it was in even more bad taste that the school shooters were saying realistic shit. Like
Well, even just like the "Where's your God now?" type stuff.
the fucking one-liners inside of them. Because the real killers did that, but not as often. Like there's a lot of funny moments during the end of it. But there's this hippie chick inside of it that you don't necessarily hate because she's not a douchebag, but she's definitely annoying as hell. And during the whole school shooting, she's in there with the guitar and she's like, wait, no violence. Let me sing you a song. And she plays the song. And at the end of the song, it's something about, I wish I never see violence again, but I know that won't be true. And they're like, yeah, that's true on your case. And ruined a guitar. That was a fun one.
No bombs going off except for that purple one that was like set.
Yeah. So the funny, the whole Quentin Tarantino aspect of that to change history of fucking their bombs didn't go off, but the police chief was like, I seen this shit on TV before. It's always the white cable, always the white cable. Click and blew up the whole fucking school.
I like that as a whole twist to the end.
Dude, I know, it was so good.
They definitely made fun of everybody in this and kind of just, like I said, it was just a big satire.
Oh, yeah.
It's American satire.
Yeah, I mean, it was mean-spirited, but also not purely mean-spirited because, like you said, it was definitely more of a satire on the media and the parents and the everything, to be honest.
Yeah, just like neglecting your parent or neglecting your children and letting them just being like doing whatever they want because they made a lot of jokes on that. I'm just like, yeah, okay, dear. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go to the school and kill myself. It's like, okay, have a good day then.
And then the drunk dad was just, don't take my good gun.
Yeah, just kind of. But there's some like sad truth in a lot of that. Just like
sadly, yeah,
of the parents of just not really being there for their kids.
Well, they did touch on that too, because like William Hellfire, he played like Eric, and Eric's parents were pretty decent to him. Like they didn't abuse him or do anything like that. They were just shy away from reality type parents. And then Dylan's parents, who the other person plays, were abusive and crazy. So they definitely did have two different family lives.
One's just more naive, one's abusive.
But all in all, I think it's fucking amazing. I think more people need to watch it. They have to get past the bad taste of it all. It's not your everyday type movie. You never usually see a satire horror movie about a real life tragedy, but I think it's written really well, and I think a lot of the acting works, and I think the directing works. I think it's just a fun time. Maybe bad to say if you haven't seen it, but if you have seen it, you'll understand. So check it out.
You'll definitely laugh once or twice and you feel bad for it.
Yeah, I feel like everyone who hates the movie are just ashamed of themselves for laughing at parts of it. I definitely felt a little ashamed laughing at some of it. Well, yeah, that's Duck the Carbine High Massacre. Check it out.
I give it 2 active shooters up. So that's it for Violent Cinema Review, and we definitely have more to come. We're going to try to do this more weekly and being consistent about it. We're backlogged a little bit, so you might see it actually every like few days for right now, but then we'll probably keep up and just keep it to a once a week thing. And
Once or twice, depending on how many we pump in and how many screeners we get and such.
yeah. And then we're definitely going to try to get more interviews and topic episodes and things like that. I got some interesting ideas, but it's just time.
Yeah, time and preparation. Preparation, it's a huge thing with the topic episodes and even the interviews. So the reviews have been popping out a lot more frequently.
Yeah.
And it's been a while since the last interview, but I promise we're getting on to that and we're gonna get some crazy cool people for you to listen.
Yeah. Some people would be like, him? Whoa.
What, dude?
All right. Well, then with that said, I'm Christian.
And I'm Bones.
Go.